15 mil. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be interesting to see how the face changes depending on what lens you're using. So this is a 15 mil. Yeah. Wait, it's gonna look a little goofy, but
like this close to
I know. It's gonna look a little goofy, but try to like keep the same expression. 1, 2. What is going on, guys? It is Jamil with MILMID Studios. I'm here with the beautiful Emily, my wife. We're here at the Fish Creek Provincial Park, and we are gonna do a little bit of a comparison. So as you can see here, guys, we have the Canon R5 with the 85-1.2 on there, and we also have the 70-200, and we're gonna do a comparison with portrait shots. We're gonna use Emily here. We're gonna see what backdrop is best. We're gonna be doing a nice comparison video to see how these lenses operate. Now, obviously the 85-1.2, we're gonna be boosting it up to f2.8 to be even with the 70-200, and we're gonna be shooting the 70-200 at 85 millimeters for the portraits. And then after, we're gonna actually use these lenses at their full maximum capacity. So the 85-1.2 we'll leave at 1.2, comparing it to the 70-200 at 200 millimeters, 2.8, to see if that compression makes any difference with the buttery bokeh background. So we're gonna see how these lenses do on the R5. I'm looking forward to it, and I think you guys should like it as well. Also, guys, just wanna let you know, the 1,000 YouTube sub giveaway has concluded as of February 2nd, 2023. So now it's gonna be a bit of production to pick the winner, because we're gonna go out into the streets with the top 5 pictures, and we're gonna see who the people vote for, and then we're gonna announce the winner. So just, keep that in mind. The video will be coming out soon in this month. Another great thing, guys, is that everyone who applied, who entered the competition, is gonna be getting a free t-shirt, okay? So it's my way of saying thank you for the first giveaway. Obviously, as we get bigger, we may not be able to do that, but everybody who applied, I'll be reaching out to you for your sizes and whatnot, and you guys will get a free t-shirt. Thank you guys so much for applying. I'm humbled, and thank you for your support. We're almost at 1,200 subscribers. If you haven't as yet, be sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you guys for your continued support. Let's get into this video. All right, guys, we have the 85-1.2 on the Canon R5. Let's take a few test shots. Just full open at 1.2 with the 85 mil. This lens is so crazy. The combo is so crazy with the R5. So we are in manual mode, f1.2, slightly overexposed. We're gonna go overexposed 1 stop, and we'll keep it consistent the whole way. Just beautiful. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I think I like this location. The light is nicely on your face. So
Do you want me this way?
let's see, turn this way. Okay, that's like full on light. Okay, you might like that. 1, 2. So this.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
Okay, guys, we found it. The light is right behind us. So it's a nice overcast day with the clouds. So it's like a nice big soft white box. We got those tests out of the way. Now we're gonna shoot 85 mil. We're gonna try to keep the same framing when I use the 70-200, but let's keep that right there. Actually, we'll come a little closer. There we go. That looks good. We'll go 1 stop overexposed. So we're at 1/800th of a second, f2.8 at 85 mil, ISO 100. And here we go. 1, 2. Gorgeous. Wow.
Okay.
So that was with the 85-1.2, just a beautiful portrait lens. Now we're gonna switch over to the 70-200. We're gonna keep the same settings, same exposure if we can. That's better. 12/50th of a second, f2.8, 100 ISO, 1 stop overexposed. You get a bit of my shadow, unfortunately. 1, 2. Very nice. So. Now, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot at 200 mil. We're gonna try to get the same framing. We're 1 stop overexposed, 200 mil, and count of 3, 1, 2. Very nice. Interesting.
That's really close.
With the compression, look at this. The background there.
Yeah.
That's the one before. But look at that one. That's
it's
200
even more
mil.
Blurred.
So this is going to be interesting, guys, because I'll put the pictures on the screen. With the 7200 at about 85 mil, the background blur is pretty much the same as the 85 mil. But when you have that compression with the full 200, you get that background blur even more. So we're trying to see now, if I shoot this 85 fully open, can you get the same effect as, you know, with a 200 at a 2.8, if that makes any sense. Okay, so the light could be slightly changing, but we'll adjust. Okay, so now instead of 2.8 on the 85-1.2, we're gonna go wide open at 1.2, one stop overexposed. We're at 1/2000th of a second, f1.2, ISO 100. Ready, babe?
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay. So this compared to that. So we're going to compare those pictures to see, like, do you really need to get the 85-1.2? I mean, this has the defocus smoothing, so you're going to have different characteristics with the bokeh balls. It's going to be nice, rounder, softer. But I mean, that could be a real minor detail, and you can save yourself about $500 bucks or so and just get yourself a 7200 f2.8. So right now what we're going to do, we're going to put on the 15 to 35 and see what that kind of does to the shape of the face with it being a wider lens. And we're going to try to keep that same sort of framing or composition as close as we can. So that's an interesting thing. So okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. This last little experiment, we're going to use the 15-35, then we're going to go to the 85-1.2, then we're going to go to the 7200 shooting at 200 mil, and we're going to see how the face changes. And I'm going to put the pictures on screen. Same kind of framing is what we're going to be going for. 15 mil. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be interesting to see how the face changes depending on what lens you're using. So this is a 15 mil. Wait, it's going to look a little goofy, but
like this close to
I know. It's going to look a little goofy, but try to like keep the same expression. 1, 2. We did the test. We're gonna go into Lightroom and we're gonna really see the details of these pictures and really go in depth on how we compare these pictures. Emily and I kind of just looking through the pictures that we took so far, we've decided what we think is the best one. We'll tell you right now, we think the 85 looks the most natural in terms of facial symmetry and whatnot, and that's why Emily's recording me right now with the 85-1.2, because I want to look handsome for you guys, all right? Emily can't be the only one looking good on this channel. But we're gonna go into Adobe Lightroom. We're gonna take a nice close look at these images, and you guys decide for yourself and put in the comment box what you think the best lens is for portraits. If you like that nice wide 15 mil up in your face, like, that's on you. But for us, I think the 85-1.2 or maybe even the 7200 is gonna be a great portrait lens. We'll see you guys in Lightroom. Okay.
All right, guys, welcome to the last chapter of this video. We're in Adobe Lightroom Classic, and we are going to be comparing some of the photos we took from the 85mm to the 7200. As you can see on the top left of both of these photos, you have the settings and the lens used. So on this left-hand picture, we're using the RF 85mm f1.2. The settings were 1/800th of a second, f2.8, and ISO of 100. Whereas on the right hand, we're using the RF 70-200 f2.8 with settings 1/1250th of a second at f2.8, ISO 100. Okay, so let's zoom in on these pictures. We'll go to the eyes because a lot of details can be found in the eyes. I'm actually very impressed with the 70 to 200. Both these lenses are being shot at 2.8. The eyebrows stick out to me immediately. The 70 to 200, it definitely looks sharper than the 85 prime at 2.8. Both of them at 2.8. Obviously, the shutter speed is slightly off, but still extremely fast. 1/800th of a second and 1/1250th of a second. So that's one thing I noticed right away. The eyebrows on the 70-200 show more detail than on the 85. Other than that, guys, I think these lenses are both beautiful, very sharp, very crisp. But yeah, looking just on its face, guys, I'm going to say that I actually favor the 70-200 in this image close up, just because if you can see what I'm seeing, those eyebrows really do stick out as being sharper in the 70-200. Let's zoom back out here. I thought it was interesting. The background blur does look similar. The main thing that sticks out to me as different is with the 70-200, the background, this brown shrubbery in the trees in the back here, they look bigger than in the 85. And I think that's simply because we're at 100 millimeters. And what we'll also notice when we get to 200 is that the background looks a lot bigger and a lot closer. So I'm going to chalk that up to just being a different shutter, or not shutter speed, a different focal length. Here we're looking at the 85 f1.2 shot open, wide open at f1.2 with a 1/2000 shutter speed, ISO of 100. And on the right hand side here, we have the RF 70-200 mil shot at 200 millimeters, so maxed out 1/1000th of a second at f2.8 ISO 100. The objective was to be one stop overexposed. And, you know, before we even zoom in, like I was alluding to in the previous pictures, the background here at 200 mil seems a lot closer and a lot bigger compared to the 85, which it's a lot more subdued in the background. That's one of the main differences that immediately pops out to me. Obviously, the framing isn't perfect. It isn't, you know, exact, but that is something that definitely sticks out to me. Now, we're going to zoom in. Both these lenses are phenomenal. The details look great. I would actually, you know, it's funny because shooting wide open at f1.2, the eyebrows are actually sharper than the 70-200 in this particular photo, but it's strange because on the first one we reviewed, the eyebrows on the 70-200 were sharper. That could be chance. It could be a miss on autofocus. You know what? I think we'll make that a wash in regards to both these lenses. Beautiful picture, beautiful clarity, beautiful detail on both of these images. You know, I'm surprised by the 70-200 and how it performed. And I think, you know, after looking at these pictures closely, the biggest difference you're going to find between these lenses, especially in this environment when we're not really dealing with light and bokeh balls and whatnot, where I think the 85 will win hands down, it's really the focal length and the characteristics that stem from that that, you know, show us the biggest differences. The background here is, you know, significantly bigger than the background in this 85 mil. So I just think it's interesting. It's interesting. And one thing that I notice, and it'll be a bit more apparent in this next set of pictures that I show, is the facial changes that occur depending on what lens you're using. This is interesting. For portraits, yeah, the 15 mil, I probably wouldn't say a close portrait is the best way to go. But just for, you know, this experiment, we're looking at here at the 15 mil versus the 35 mil. And you can see how the face changes drastically. And even 35, you know, it does look more natural, way more natural than the 15. But when you get from, let's see, Let's put the 35 over here and the 85 over here. Comparing the 35 to the 85 is interesting because, again, although slight, there is a change in the symmetry and the shape of the face. And the 85 just, it's very appealing to me. And we're gonna actually, let's put the 85 over here and bring over the 200 mil. And one thing that I notice is that with the 200 mil, it's almost as the face, it gets wider, or even the head gets bigger, it looks like. Whereas with the dimensions on the 85, it just seems proportionate. It seems natural. It seems beautiful. And don't get it twisted, the 200 mil, it's still a beautiful lens. And you know, you look at these pictures and they look quite similar, but again, we're going to take our focus and attention off of the subject. Look at the background. This is the same background, but just because this is a 200, the background appears so much closer and so much bigger. So it's really cool to see the differences between the lenses. Now, when it comes to portraits and facial structure and aesthetics, I tend to lean with the 85. I think the 85 is a great look when it comes to portraits, and it really brings out the beauty of the subject. But like I said before, the 7200, it's almost just as good. I lean towards the 85, but the 7200, I believe, is a suitable portrait lens if you have the space to utilize it. Obviously, if you're in a studio, you're not going to use a 600 mil lens because it's just simply not plausible. The beauty of the 7200 is that you have that versatility with the zoom. You know, you can't get over that. But then with the prime f1.2, you're going to just be crushing that 2.8 with better low light abilities. So the 85 mil, it needs less space to produce an excellent image, whereas the 70 to 200, you do need that extra space to be able to frame your subject properly and get that compression effect. So there you have it, guys. I hope that this was insightful to you, and I hope that it also helped you decide on what lens you want to go with. I have the 85 and the 7200, but this has really made me consider whether I need both those lenses, or if there's, you know, enough overlap to be fine with just one of them. So I need to do some thinking to see if I'm going to get rid of my 70 to 200. There's no way I'm getting rid of that 85-1.2. I love that thing. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Drop a comment. Let me know what lens and, you know, focal length you prefer when it comes to portraits. What do you like based on the images you saw here today? Do you like the 70 to 200, or do you prefer the 85-1.2? At the end of the day, guys, don't forget to keep on shooting. Thanks a lot.